And welcome to another edition of Fourth and Pain, the only pro wrestling show hosted by an NFL athlete sitting 2,000 miles to the left of me, Adam, Big Papa Pump Carriker of the Washington Redskins, and I am your humble radio professional, Chuck Carroll, who, well, just right off the bat, I feel the need to just kind of bow down to you, because you have what I lack, and what you have is the prowess to make very good picks in pro wrestling matches, because at this point, I am on the verge of losing the Laraning contest. Matter of fact, I think after the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, it's a done deal. I'm ready to wave the white flag right now.
Well, one of many things, along with good looks, charisma, white teeth, and height. But yes, let's not forget, Fourth and Pain is the only radio show hosted by a man who has lost, what was it, 230 pounds?
250.
250. I'm sorry, 250. We gotta throw that in the beginning now. You can't forget that, Chuck. You gotta pat yourself on the back there.
Yeah, you know what? Matter of fact, I'll just go ahead. I'll tease that when we do the weight loss segment, we're going to talk a little bit about my journey here during this broadcast. I actually have a pretty big announcement to make as far as that. So, I have two things really going for me in life right now, one of which is this show. The other is on the weight loss side of things, and hopefully onward and upward, and we'll see what happens. But let's just leave that at the tease right now. Let's talk a little bit about pro wrestling. Let's talk a lot about what we saw at WWE No Way Out.
Hold on, don't forget about my dominance. I kind of brushed over my dominance of you. How close am I to winning the Laraning thing now?
Oh, well, we were going to circle back to that. Let me get the official tally. I believe it is something like 24-12. Let me pull it up right here on fourthandpain.com. You can follow along at home at my absolute pummeling here at the hands of Adam Carriker. And as it stands, 23-12. I'm sorry, 23-12. First man to 30 wins, which means I have to get 18 right before you get 7 right, and that's just not gonna happen.
I feel like there should just be a mercy rule, like in Little League when you get to 20 runs or something, they just call the thing. Should we just do that? Should we just, I don't know. I feel bad at this point, like I'm just spanking you so bad.
Yeah, but we've invested time, effort, and energy in this.
So bad.
I think that we need to see it through to its proper conclusion here. So we're just going to go to 30, but don't you worry. Like I said, I'm waving the white flag already. It's pretty much a done deal unless miracles happen. But frankly, I don't think I'm the Olympic hockey team, so pretty much my hat's off to you, buddy.
Miracle on radio? Yeah. Probably won't, but you never know.
It could, but it probably won't. You're right. All right, so here we go. Big WWE update following the cage match between John Cena and The Big Show at No Way Out. Guess who was out of a job, Adam Carriker?
My guy. And it's amazing because he's a heel, he's a bad guy, and I've told you many times, I digged it. His horrible voice, his absolute lack of charisma, lack of personality. It was. I loved it. The scooter. I love the scooter. I was so upset when Mr. McMahon drove that off the stage. I'm actually gonna miss me some John Laurinaitis. I'm not even gonna lie.
Well, you had the opportunity actually to play with his nephew or something along those lines out in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, James Laurinaitis. He was a second round draft pick we had, I believe, my third year there. And then also I had the chance to meet his dad, Animal. One of the games I did not play in, him and I chatted for about an hour before the game. I mean, he was a lot of fun to talk to.
Well, he's been very, very, very quiet here. I don't believe that old James Laurinaitis has weighed in whatsoever about his uncle losing his job on WWE. I'd be curious to know if he was on board with the whole people power bit, because frankly, people powered that. There wasn't a whole lot of people involvement there. That was a one-man machine, and I got to disagree with you. I am glad Johnny Ace has bit the dust.
I miss him already.
You know, I'll be honest with you when I say I would be surprised if we have seen the last of this guy. I know that Vicky Guerrero, she's going to be in charge of Raw and SmackDown next week. She's a former general manager. Also in the mix, probably to take over at least one show, is Teddy Long, who was ousted on the SmackDown side of things. It would be nice to see him get back in the mix. And, you know, that had to have been a good feeling for him last Monday night to rip up that big, oversized, gigantic "Hello, my name is Teddy" tag that the only place I've ever seen a bigger name tag is on The Price is Right.
Well, hey, let me ask you a question. Would you rather watch Vicky Guerrero, excuse me, or John Laurinaitis, who can't talk? Who would you rather watch? I don't know, it's a horrible impression of both of them, but who would you rather watch?
I mean, the good guy in me says Vicky Guerrero because at least she's fallible. But the fan in me, the WWE fan in me, wants to see a little bit more of Johnny Ace because he does bring an awful lot of personality and flat out he evokes a hell of an emotion out of the crowd. So I would like to see a little bit more of Johnny Ace, but for right now, People Power has run its course. And, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'd be surprised if we did not see him back in the WWE ring again sometime, probably in the next month or two.
Oh, absolutely. He'll be back. He's too much of a character. He's too awesome. I'm just kidding. I do miss the guy, but he'll be back.
Well, the other big news this week out of WWE is Triple H absolutely throwing down the challenge to Brock Lesnar for SummerSlam. Of course, he comes out, he addresses the lawsuits filed against WWE by Brock Lesnar at No Way Out. The following night, Paul Heyman comes to Raw and responds on Lesnar's behalf, says absolutely no way, and then threatens Triple H, tries to get him to hit him, says he's going to sue if he does, and he keeps pushing those buttons, and of course Triple H, he's not going to take that off of old Paul Heyman, lays him out cold. So this is another interesting angle. I'm very curious to see where this goes. I would be surprised, though, stunned, I say, if we did not see Triple H versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And odds are Paul Heyman's going to be involved in that match in some way, shape, or form. Maybe as the guest referee.
The guest referee. I don't think Triple H would allow that to happen, but yeah, absolutely. They're gonna get together at SummerSlam. And I'm trying to figure out, obviously it's a ways off. How are they going to play the match out? Are they going to do it like John Cena where Brock slung him all over the ring and then Cena pulls out the victory at the end, or Heyman cheats to get the win? So I think it'll be interesting just to see how this match plays out.
Well, more interesting to me was actually Triple H's comments Monday night. And I don't know if you caught this on Raw or not when Triple H came out and alluded to the bingo hall that Paul Heyman used to run back in Philadelphia, of course, paying homage to the old school ECW. They were famous for running the bingo hall in Philadelphia. And I thought that was absolutely classic as they try to distance themselves more and more from the competition, even though they bought them out eventually. It still just tickled me pink to, hear them allude to that old school ECW from the late 90s. I thought that was hysterically funny, a little bit of an inside jab. But to those guys that have been watching pro wrestling for, and it's hard to believe that it's been almost 20 years with ECW at this point, that to me just totally made the show. Totally made the show.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of those things not everybody's going to catch, like you say. I mean, you had to have been watching it. You have to know what he's talking about. And actually, the crowd started chanting ECW when Heyman came out. So I thought that was kind of cool, too.
Well, that was a New York crowd. And ECW used to run up in New York all the time as well. They did a number of pay-per-views from the Hammerstein Ballroom. And I believe that they were on Long Island last Monday night. Probably at the home of the Islanders. Where else is there to do a show on Long Island? But a very fun crowd. I know that some people thought that those fans were a little bit disrespectful both at the pay-per-view and the following night on Raw. I'm inclined to disagree simply because you know what you're getting with the New York wrestling crowd. They're kind of unruly. They think that they're all smarter than the average fan. And so you get comments like that. But to me, it just adds a little bit of excitement to the show because it just adds that third person in the ring,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it when crowds get into it. I love it when there's inside jabs. I love, personally, I would never take a poke at anybody. I can't imagine myself doing such a thing. I would never make fun of anybody. But, I love it when other people do it.
And
right, Chuck?
I think that you need to get on board with the WWE anti-bullying campaign and be a star, my friend.
Well, if you'd quit bullying me, I wouldn't need to be on board with it.
My friend,
Bully.
Your facts are a little bit skewed. You're a little bit skewed, and I'll talk to you after the show about that. Lastly, before we move on here and bring on a very special guest this evening on Fourth and Pain, AJ, Kane, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, what in the hell is up with this wackadoo?
It just gets better and better every week. I mean, 2 Raws ago, I text you because you always watch it after work, so I always see it before you do. I text you, and I simply said, they took the AJ thing to another level. After you watched it, you said you weren't kidding. And this next week, they take it to another level. It just gets better and better. I absolutely love it. I love the way she just prances and hop skips around the ring with that big smile, bats her eyelash. She had the Kane mask on. Actually, the whole ensemble. I thought it was freaking sweet.
Right. Didn't even get in the ring. Didn't get on the microphone on Monday night. Simply skipped around the ring dressed in Kane attire. Of course, this distracts the big red machine and lets CM Punk get the win. Of course, he thinks that that's the funniest thing ever. Kane, confused, goes to the back. So I'm thinking, and it looks like it's just sort of naturally playing out this way, but I'm thinking she's really in cahoots still with CM Punk, or she's got the the hots for him more so than anybody else, and she's just trying to help him win come hell or high water, or at the expense of Kane.
Well, here's what I liked was, divas, they just in general don't tend to get as much attention as the male performers or wrestlers, if you will. The crowd during the match between those four guys, Kane, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk. Who was the fourth competitor? I forget.
At Raw? Kane,
yeah.
Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and
was it Sheamus?
Sheamus. It would have been Sheamus, yeah.
I mean, you got the two champs. You got Kane, you got Daniel Bryan, former champs. And what's the crowd chanting? AJ. I thought that was awesome.
That or Zack Ryder. But that's another story.
And he never even came out. I mean, it was in Long Island. What's up with that?
I don't know. Lastly, before we put the kibosh on Raw, hey, you know what? I would like to tip of the hat to us. A tip of the hat to us here on Fourth and Pain, Adam. And do you know why? Because I feel that you and I are responsible for elevating Heath Slater's career just a little bit. Just a little bit more.
He did it single-handedly. Just by coming on this show, he is now that much better.
What happens when you come on Fourth and Pain? You get hit over the head by Rock and Roll Hall of Famers. And Cyndi Lauper, she packs a hell of a punch, does she not?
Hey, don't forget, he also sang his wonderful single. He's got a wonderful singing voice, and he unleashed that for everyone to hear.
The future is indeed bright for Mr. Slater, and I'm looking forward to more from this guy. And honestly, it's hard to, sit here and keep a straight face when we're talking about a guy that's just getting laid out every Monday. But at least he's getting laid out in style. He's got way more class than these guys that they keep feeding to Ryback that get on the microphone and sing their little ditties before getting absolutely jobbed out. At least Heath Slater comes on. He stays in the ring. He's got a little bit more credibility. He's a two-time tag team champion, known to the WWE universe. And you can't tell me that getting laid out by Roddy Piper, Wendy Richter, and Cyndi Lauper wasn't the biggest thing that's happened to him since, a week ago when he got laid out by Vader.
I mean, those names right there, that's who he's in the ring with. That's who he's, that's who he's working with. And you're seeing him every Monday night. He's getting a chance to work the mic a little bit. I mean, Fourth and Pain, it's what we do. We launch careers.
We make them and we break them. Hey, Heath Slater, you're welcome back on the show anytime. But let's talk about a guy that's given us an opportunity here at Fourth and Pain, and we're talking about Chad Dukes, the proprietor of Dukes Wrestling, gave us our very first outlet. So for the very first time, he's going to come on the show. WWE is about to release a DVD of the top 50 finishers in the history of wrestling. We're going to bring Chad Dukes on. We're going to debate it a little bit. Adam's going to give us his top 5. I'll give you mine. And I'm pretty sure Chad Dukes is going to have an opinion on this.
I absolutely cannot wait. And Mr. Dukes, we have the list of the top 50 in front of us, or I do anyways. I like to come prepared. See, I would never take a jab at anybody. Anyways,
be a
Mr.
star,
Deuce
Adam.
Came up with another one. I'm sorry. Mr. Deuce came up with another one on his own, and it actually, after you sent me the YouTube video, blew me away. I've seen it 5 times, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's in my top 5.
Well, let's push pause on that. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about this mystery finisher that did not make WWE's cut, but it would make mine. That's for damn sure. This is Fourth and Pain. He's Adam Carriker. I'm the bullied Chuck Carroll. We'll be right back with Chad Dukes.